Hello and welcome back. I'm Shelf Unit and this is my continuing Let's Play of Civilization 2. So last episode we continued building, improving, exploring, finding new things. We're Aria and we're heading off west of Westeros. Albeit not a very good one. Anyway, we shall continue with our journey here. 6 moves now on our galleons because of Magellan's expedition. We have, I think last episode, prevented the Aztecs from gaining any more knowledge via the Great Library because of our advance of electricity. And we're now researching railroad. Our people are transforming the forests into grassland. Hopefully that won't take too much longer. And yeah, let's see how we go. Continuing to explore. We've discovered the Sioux, I believe, now. Okay, what is left to do in terms of... I don't think there's anything left to do in terms of build. Here I think might need doing. Otherwise, it's just waiting for railroad. Yansk is building a temple, but that's already been built. It's because it flicked off so quickly. We've got only a... let's build a harbour because we've only got a surplus of 1. Kiev's built a temple, surplus of 3 and decent size, so we can build an aqueduct. Let's irrigate there. And this is now finished its changing. So, oops, let's flick over to Nottingham to see what's actually happening on it. And yeah, so that's now giving us the same number of food, 1 less production, but 2 trade, which massively helps our taxes and luxuries and other bits and pieces. So let's build irrigation under there to get an additional food on there. More Russians. Wow. They've really taken over these spurs, or land spurs coming out of the South Pole. Dessa's built a temple. We've got a surplus of 2 there. I'm going to change that to a harbour. Nottingham, and we discovered the railroad. Cancels the effect of the hanging gardens. The predecessors to modern railroads were wagonways, which were constructed in England starting in the 16th century. Wagonways were roads of parallel planks upon which coal wagons were pulled by horses at a greater speed than would have been possible on dirt roads. Wagonways were gradually improved by adding cross ties and iron strips to reinforce them. Eventually the planks became metal rails and evolved into the type of rails used on today's railroads by the start of the 19th century. Soon after the steam locomotive was introduced in 1829, it replaced horse-drawn wagons, giving birth to the railroad. Originally developed in Britain and the eastern United States as a method of hauling heavy mining ores and freight, railroads outshone canals in their ability to operate across any ground and in nearly any weather. When railroads started carrying passengers as well as goods, the potential for safe, fast, inexpensive transport became clear. Railroads led to the dramatic increase in the amount of cargo, passengers, news, and troops that could be moved quickly over great distances. The railroads increase resource production, field production by 50%. Interesting, I thought they increased trade. Oh well. And it's 0 movement points to move along them. Now, industrialization will end our superiority of London by cancelling King Richard's crusade. So I'm going to hold off on that as long as possible. So let's go for tactics. And carry on exploring. Let's irrigate there and irrigate there. It's nice to be able to get in here. York's built a coastal fortress. What else is there to build in York? Not a great deal. Build a stock exchange. It'll take a long time, but it'll produce a lot of cash. Okay, let's get out and carry on exploring the South Pole. Some really oddly shaped islands in this place. Okay, so now we've developed, irrigated and roaded every square that can be done to help our cities. We're going to start building railroads, which will help our cities produce more. They're going land. They're land-based exploration across the poles. I believe we can irrigate down here as well. Oh, and Leonardo's workshop has upgraded all dragoons to cavalry, as we've discovered tactics. Science of the development of military forces to accomplish a short-ranged goal or objective is known as tactics. In unique or difficult situations, the maneuvers and methods of attack must be chosen wisely to give one's troops the maximum possible advantage over the enemy by taking advantage of the enemy's weaknesses. The successful tactics of military commanders are studied by their successors for possible modification and use under current conditions. Although tactics that work well in certain situations may not always be successful when used again, proven military tactics have worked well in many different battle situations throughout history. The vast amount of advanced equipment and resources available in modern warfare make the proper tactical coordination of a campaign vital, but difficult to achieve with total success. Let's get theology now, because it's just something we haven't done. Let's have a look at the military units. My dragoons. Attack strength 5, defense strength 2, hit points 2, firepower 1, movement rate 2. Now become cavalry? Yeah. So attack strength 8, defense strength 3. That's impressive. So they've had their attack strength nearly doubled. God, the land size. So as you can, well, difficult to see behind the city, but on this screen it will be, there we go. So you've got the railroad, little silvery extension now. We shall just start connecting our cities through that. Warwick has built a marketplace. What can I build there? Let's build a university there. It's going to take ages, but we might as well. Goethe's built a harbour. Let's build a library there. Moscow's built the aqueduct that it needed so desperately. We can build a harbour there to help boost the population. Goodness me, they're sending out units. Must be from both sides. The Russians are quite... No, the Aztecs have engineering, dear oh dear. Novgorod's built a library. Let's build a harbour there. Tbilisi's built a library. And we can build an aqueduct getting ready for when it appears that our city needs it. One more population and we'll start needing an aqueduct. There are the Chinese. Let's start building railroads here to connect all our cities. Let's just build more of that useless thing. Okay, so they're sending settlers out and about Wow. Qingdao, or however you pronounce it. Germans are getting battered by barbarians again. You actually built a harbour. That will only really function here, so we're not going to build a coastal fortress because we can't get attacked from the sea. We can only get attacked from here, and there's not going to be any enemies attacking us from an inland lake. So I want an aqueduct, because whilst we still haven't got much in the way of a surplus, we are getting individually near the total maximum number of people that we can before we need to get an aqueduct. So Minsk has built a library. What can I build instead there? Let's build a barracks because we might as well. And we've got theology now. Yep, J.S. Bach's Cathedral. Theology is the study of God and religious truth. Theologians take a more or less scientific approach to the questions of religion, deeply studying the underlying meaning of scriptures and religious teachings, rather than taking them on faith. Theological seminaries teach courses of study in theology to prepare people as priests and clergymen. Many of the earliest colleges of the Western world were originally established for this purpose. Theological study helped to remove some of the superstitions that had surrounded religion for so long, and brought religious study to a more enlightened age. Let's go for amphibious warfare now. And continuing our modus operandi of exploration. Yep, it has built an aqueduct now. Build a library there. Continuing to explore. Build railways everywhere. Oh, and London's built the Eiffel Tower. I forgot we were building that. What should we build now? Let's build Darwin's Voyage. Screw it. I'm gonna buy it now. Oh, I can't buy it now. We'll wait one turn. Maybe. Advisors, science advisor. Nope, we're halfway. We're getting discoveries every 4 turns. So in 4 turns, when we next discover something, I'm going to buy the remainder of Darwin's Voyage, and that will instantly allow us to find the next advance. So we can basically use it to find 3 advances in a row, basically. Very, very quickly. More efficient that way without expending any additional scientific resources than is needed. Explored island here, yes, with a barbarian hut. And we've found a city which has a granary and a temple. We're going to sell the granary because we've already got I'm going to fortify him in there until it's built. And that's an unusual and highly interesting place to have a city so far away. So let's keep on exploring and building. Okay, now as you get more advanced, as in everything else in life, sometimes things get more specialized. This unit, Galleon, is not a combat capable unit. The Trireme and Caravel could both be used as attack. This ship is purely used as a transportation ship. It has 0 attack strength. Odessa's now built a harbour. It's got plenty of surplus, so we can build an aqueduct there. We discovered amphibious warfare. Combined land and sea attack, usually associated with the capture of a beachhead or coastal area, is known as amphibious warfare. First attempted by the ancient Persians during the Battle of Marathon in 490 BC. Successful coordination of amphibious assaults are considered to be amongst the most complex military operations. When ship-mounted guns were developed, naval vessels would open fire on ground forces and gun emplacements, whilst merchant ships were used to land troops and supplies. The first modern amphibious assault took place at Gallipoli during World War I. Poorly planned and executed, this assault failed, but served as an example of the need for perfect coordination of forces in this type of attack. As battlefield communications improved and the range of ship-mounted weapons increased, amphibious warfare became increasingly successful and played a vital role in World War II. Today, amphibious operations are augmented by fast, armoured landing vehicles, hovercraft that are capable of moving troops to and across the beach, and airborne assistance from planes and helicopters. So I want fundamentalism and refrigeration as my free advances, and then we'll get industrialization as our next researched advance. So we shall complete it. Notice how once you've got some resources in, the overall cost goes down dramatically. To buy instantly costs an awful lot of money, double almost more than double. We still wouldn't have been able to afford it, I don't think. I think it was 3,200. But as soon as you actually get some resources in there, the overall cost goes down massively. So we're going to complete it. And there's Shanghai. Interesting. It's very small. I'm going to continue connecting. Minsk builds barracks. What have we got there? We've got plenty of there. We've got marketplace will come in handy now. Even more money. Nottingham's built a stock exchange, which is nice. We've got the option of port facilities now. I'm thinking engineers we can start building now. Or even a ship. A galleon. Galleons are our transport ships are galleons and our attacking ships are destroyers. They couldn't possibly build a destroyer without any guns on it and call it a transport, for example, and do. No, that has to be a different thing. That's the advance of industrialization for you. London completes Darwin's voyage. We've discovered fundamentalism. Fundamentalism is a governing system whose laws and doctrines are rooted in the extremist and controversial views of religion. Fundamentalists believe in absolute truth and infallibility of their religion, accepting nothing short of a literal interpretation of the scriptures of their faith. Their views are sometimes so radical as to put them at odds with even the most devout traditionalists of the religion in question. Fundamentalist movements have appeared from time to time throughout the world, including a widespread movement of Christian fundamentalism in the US in the early 20th century. In some cases, most notably in areas of the Middle East, these movements are so widespread that entire nations fall under fundamentalist rule. Such governments, backed by a fanatical military force, can be a serious threat to any country that opposes their radical views. And released in 1996, how little did this game realize how well it was predicting the near future. Okay, and we're going to get refrigeration as our next one. Instantly discover it because of the two free advances. Prior to World War I, ice was the most widely used means of refrigeration for perishable items. After the war, electrical refrigerators became commonly available. The availability of these systems allowed for more constant and efficient cooling, in turn allowing perishable meats, dairy products and other items to be stored or even frozen for long periods of time. As a result, food producers could increase their output, and since excess food could be stored for later sale or consumption, the bulk concept of the wholesale selling of bulk foods known as the supermarket was in part made possible by improved refrigeration. The same method used in food refrigeration was also developed for use in air conditioners. And now we can do farmland. It only works if we've got a supermarket. But it looks nice, so we'll be doing it anyway. Now we'll be researching industrialization. London has pollution. Now, Pollution generally is linked to your production levels, but also population. And every turn you produce this amount of pollution, and every turn the amount of this dictates a chance to get a pollution, which is a little skull icon, and that will reduce your production levels on that tile. And your engineers can clean that up, which is what we will be doing. What do I want here? I'm just going to get a harbour here for the sake of it, because I can. And I'm just going to quickly clear that up using the quick keyboard shortcut P for pollution. And we will continue further to explore. Let's get more of our throne room done. Moscow's built a harbour now. Let's build a marketplace there, because they're free and they will increase our cash reserves, which are again increasing after the purchase of Darwin's Voyage. And you see this little sun here. This is global warming. When that expands to a certain level, global warming occurs. And whilst it doesn't do anything to the sea level, it will desertify certain areas and change the terrain. So we want to keep that down. And again, we're going to just keep building roads everywhere we can. Sorry, railways. Now, how are we doing for purchasing? Well, let's buy this guy, complete it, and then go off and explore. Yeah. Oh, the Germans are getting battered again by more. Prime Minister celebrations have been cancelled. Kiev has built an aqueduct. Let's build a library there. Might want to do settlers there, actually, or engineers, because we've not got much in the way of engineers outside of our main island, which is a bit of an oversight by myself. And then we can have Newcastle fortifying itself. We can also build a road there, a railway there. Novograd's now built a harbour. We can in turn build an aqueduct to make use of that harbour. Increased population. London's now built its harbour. And now I want to build a bank there. We'll be getting industrialisation very soon. Let's continue with our railway building project, whilst discovering more lands. Industrialisation has cancelled the effect of King Richard's crusade. All our galleons have been upgraded to transports, and we've discovered industrialisation. Industrialisation involves the use of machines to dramatically increase the productivity. Production of goods became concentrated in factories where the combination of specialisation of labour and automation reduced labour costs and ultimately the cost of the final manufactured product to the consumers. Industrialisation revolutionised living standards both positively and negatively. The rapid growth of production industries and the reduced cost of production has led to the prosperity of some of the richest families in history. Industrialisation has also led to the creation of a blue-collar working class. In newly industrialised nations, these workers, skilled only in their chosen trade, were often underpaid and forced to endure abominable working conditions. So now I want to get steel for better units. Now we have an additional movement point, 7 movement points. Oh, we've got another barbarian village and another city. This time comes with, wow, a marketplace as well as a temple. Just going to sleep there and fortify them there. Let's produce more railroads. Hastings is celebrating more. Okay, continue there. Producing more railroads. Everywhere we go, railroad, railroad, railroad. Okay, let's build a library. Now we want to start building, we'll build an aqueduct there first. Build more railroads. Lisi's built an aqueduct. What do I want to build there? Well, we'll start building a factory there because they've got a decent number of shields in the area. And let's connect to these cities. Aztecs have now got invention. We've discovered steel. Iron alloys produced up until about the 14th century were made by heating a mixture of iron ore and charcoal in a forge, then pounding the molten metal to drive out the impurities or slag. Occasionally, the iron mixture would absorb more carbon, creating steel rather than raw iron. Because steel proved to be less brittle and more resistant to corrosion than iron, techniques were developed to produce steel. This was done by blowing a coal derivative called coke through molten iron. Most modern steelmaking utilizes the blast furnace, developed by Henry Bessemer in 1855, to accomplish this task on a large-scale basis. The strength and other qualities of steel make it the material of choice for warships, planes, and many other vehicles. So I want machine tools now. Give me some more units and things, city improvements. Yeah, let's build an aqueduct. Yeah, it doesn't have much in the way of brilliance except for its production, so I'm going to start a factory there. Now let's see how London's doing. The lack of a King Richard's Crusade. Its production has dropped dramatically by about, well, a huge amount has gone down. So I'm going to buy a bank and then probably buy a factory later. Let's continue exploring here. And continue railroading. Minsk built a marketplace. It's also got high productivity, so I should build a factory to increase that some more. Kiev's finally built some engineers. It requires a factory because, well, it's supporting a lot. London's built the bank, and now it's going to build a factory to get that production from King Richard's Crusade back. Wow, okay, so that's a lot of the island explored. So let's just start building things. Right, roads all along here. Oh, interesting. Small island. Library there. We can build. Well, we're going to build another factory. Just since it's the Industrial Revolution is happening in 1570, a couple, 200 or 300 years before it actually did. And we've discovered machine tools. One of the most important steps in the move towards industrialization was the ability to precisely shape or machine solid metal into a desired form. Through mechanical, chemical, and other means, machine tools mold and shape raw materials into precision parts for complex machinery. The first machine tool, a horizontal boring device, was produced in the late 1700s. The development of measuring devices accurate to within a millionth of an inch allowed for the mass production of items with interchangeable parts. The technology of the 20th century has produced computer-controlled machine tools that can be adapted to a wide variety of applications. The speed and accuracy of these machines allows for the economical mass production of extremely complex products. Now I want to do communism. I'm very tempted to change into communism, but I shall leave this episode here, I believe. And I shall say goodbye and thank you very much again for watching. If you enjoyed, please subscribe. If not, do not worry about it, and we shall continue next time. Bye.